eternal, permanent, if you like, innocence and virginity, and not wanting to marry and not wanting to be married. Although her father said he wanted her to be married. The father, as you know, we said the father of the river father, and he was hoping that he wants his daughter to get married and to enjoy being a grandfather, So, but Daphne said, no, I don't want to get married. And, this is the idea here, of course, if we believe it. So here we can see this section. The first and fairest of his loves was she, whom not blind fortune, but the dire decree of angry Cupid forced him to desire. Daphne her name, and Peneus was her sire. This is the beginning, of course. You can see the poem is written in lovely, really couplets, heroic couplets. As you can see, I think it's also in iambic pentameter. The first and fairest of his love was she. It's, as you can see, five feet and iambic pentameter, because normally the couplets, heroic couplets, are written in iambic pentameter 5. And remember, as I said, Ovid was translated by our great poet, English poet John Dryden, and Dryden was absolutely famous with his poetry in heroic couplets. Means each two lines rhyme together, as I said, with 5 feet. The first and fairest of his love was she, whom not blind, notice, blind fortune, but the dire decree. The dire decree. And you can see here, of course, the way the poet really did a great job, John Dryden. I think I like him a lot. He's as I said, we studied him. I studied him when I was first year, believe it or not, and I taught him a lot. And I read most of his poetry. He's an amazing man, really. So this is translation. It's a lovely translation. The first and fairest of his loves was she, whom not blind fortune, but the dire decree of angry Cupid forced him to desire. Daphne her name, and Peneus was her sire. He's talking about Apollo's great love for her. She's the most beautiful, as you can see, fairest, and she was the first of his love, for Apollo, deeply, massively in love with her. And she was, by just blind, notice here, blind fortune, out of sheer absolute punishment, and even maybe not really. I mean, we wonder why was she punished like that, and why maybe he was, Apollo maybe annoyed Cupid for something. He, for example, as the story goes, he said something about him, and he really annoyed him for some reason about arrogance and so on. So that's why he punished him. But poor Daphne did nothing. Why would she be punished by hating men and not being, wanting to get married? And so that's why you say here, blind fortune, but the dire decree. This is the difficult, absolutely miserable, horrible decision taken by angry Cupid against her and against him. Forced him to desire, forced Apollo to desire her, to love her. Daphne her name, and Peneus was her sire. She was her name was Daphne, and her father was called Peneus, and he was the father of the river. And swelled with the pride that new success attends, he sees the stripling while his bow he bends. So he was very Cupid, meaning very, well, could be both, if you like, both proud of themselves. And we know, of course, Cupid in mythology also, the god with his arrows, you know, shooting people with his arrows, or the maker, the great maker of arrows. And that's why, you know, he shoots people with arrows, either arrows of love or arrows of hatred or arrows of pride, or I don't know. I mean, if you believe it, that's why till today, when you are in love, you draw a heart and an arrow inside it. Isn't it? Of course, we've seen a lot of...
I don't think so.
Really?
We don't use this anymore.
It's very old, doctor.
We were young and
It's very old.
Yeah, silly idea.
we were young and stupid, and we don't know what is this.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Anyway, really, oh, I stopped sharing because, yeah, I was not sharing my camera. Yeah, now you can see me laughing. Anyway, let me share again. So Ovid, Cupid was making his arrows, as I said, the arrows of love, the arrows of hatred, the arrows of courage, the arrows of whatever. So he was, as I said, proud of his job as a god, as we know. Again, please don't ever forget that these are always written by small g. Don't ever write them with capital G, because capital G is singular, always one god. Okay? So here, Cupid was proud of himself, doing, you know, as you can see, swelled with the pride. You know, he was so proud of himself, you know. That new success attends, he sees the sibling while his bow he bends, and thus insults him. You know, so how he was making his arrows, so Apollo saw him, and then he insulted him for something. Said, "What are you doing? You proud of yourself? What's that? You know, this is nothing." So for Cupid, that was an insult, and that's why he said to him, "Okay, I'm going to show you something. Thou lascivious boy, are arms like these for children to employ." So again, he's saying lascivious. You know, this again, I think this is a very funny word. Maybe it's to do with being very compassionate, or very maybe passionate, or maybe even to the idea of being tempting, or maybe sexual, or something. So you are doing all this, like saying arms like these for children to employ. No such achievements are my proper claim, due to my vigor and unerring aim. You know, he was sort of trying to defend himself, saying, I'm doing this because I have a great sort of mission to do in my life, and I make all these arrows and whatever, you know. So this is the idea. I want to quickly read this because really it's a long poem. I don't want to waste time, you know, explaining everything in details. Due to my, resistless are my shafts and python late. Here, you know, he's saying, again, he's saying my shafts as if to say my arrows and my swords and my punishments, and what I do is absolutely powerful. In such a feathered death has found his fate. Take up the torch and lay my weapons by, with that the feeble souls of lovers fry. To whom the son of Venus thus replied, Phoebus, thy shafts are sure on all beside, but mine, of Phoebus, mine the fame shall be of all thy conquest when I conquer thee. again, you know, he's saying Phoebus, and Phoebus, because he's the same name as Apollo, another name, as we say Phoebus, again, it's the name, another name for the sun. The name for the sun, you know, that again, Apollo, as you know, in mythology, you know, he's the god of so many things. Again, you know, again, if you believe this, because this is really a funny attitude to believe all these things. So the idea here that Cupid said to him, okay, I'm going to show you, you terrible man, you terrible Apollo, you terrible Phoebus, I'm going to punish you by falling in love with this woman, with this young lady, I should say, this Daphne, and you will never get her. He said, and roaring swiftly winged his flight, no, nor stopped, but on Phoebus' airy height. 2 different shafts he from his quiver draws, one to repel desire and one to cause. So that's why here Cupid was angry. So he took 2 arrows from his, as you can see here, he said from his quiver, which is like a pouch or like a bag which you have in your back, put in your back to hold your arrows. We have a word in Arabic which is really nice. I don't know if you use it in the same here in Oman. We say al-ju'ba. Do you say the word ju'ba? In Arabic, al-ju'ba.
Yes, doctor.
You use it? Yeah.
Yeah, and in Fusha we use it.
Yeah. Okay, al-Fusha, correct. Yes. So, so notice here that he decided to. Here he's telling us how he shoots Apollo in one arrow of desire, and the other arrow, which is the opposite of desire, meaning of course hatred, to shoot our friend Daphne. One is pointed with refulgent gold. Again here, this is really as if to say, you know, in a very sort of amazing, if you like, powerful effect, to bribe the love and make the lover bold. One blunt and tipped with lead, whose base allay provokes disdain and drives desire away. So one arrow was as he said, dipped in gold, which is the symbol here of love and so on, and shot to Apollo or against or at Apollo. And the other arrow was dipped in lead, which is a rasas, dipped in lead, which is here for us the symbol for death or for hatred, and shooting that arrow to or at poor Daphne. And that's why, to drive all the love and the feelings from her. The blunted bolt against the nymph he durst, but with the sharp transfix Apollo's breast. So he shot them both, and the arrows went through their bodies amazingly, and then Apollo got that in his breast, and the nymph, he said again, you know, he shot her again. Notice blunted bolt against the nymph he dressed, you know, as if the way he shot her. The enamored deity pursues. Now he said deity. The enamored deity pursues the chase. Now we see the chase, the running after. And you notice here using the word deity means, you know, God. This enamored means the gods who are in love, or from the word in French, amour, or love, really. And the way the French, they say amour or mon amour or something like that. I don't know. I don't know French, but this is the only French I know some French, but not much. But I know the word amour means love. Well, we learned this when we were kids anyway. Anyway, so here he's saying these poor gods, or the chase between them started, he said. The pursues the chase. The scornful damsel shuns her loathed embrace. She scorns, damsel here, the girl. Our girl, she scorns him, she hates him. So she runs away from him. Again, his loathed, hated. She hates his embrace, and he wants to embrace her. When you love someone, of course, you always want to, be with them and cuddle them and hold them and so on. So this is, the idea. Our friend here, he's telling us about that. In hunting beasts of prey, her youth employs, and Phoebe rivals in her rural joys. So now he's telling us that Phoebus, or Apollo, was always a great hunter. He was always hunting and chasing things. So as if now he's chasing his prey. Prey, as we know, as we say in Arabic, I think I like the word, we use the word at-tarida, as we say, or a seda, right? And it's funny, isn't it? Sometimes we men use words like that, I mean, I have only here one boy. I'm not going to ask him because he will be shy, but I will say it myself. Really, men sometimes use language like this in normal speech, in normal funny masculine language, and really maybe masculine, maybe demeaning language. They say when they are going out somewhere, they say, well, we are going, chasing whatever, and maybe we got, oh, she is a good sayda. Wallahi sayda, oh, mashallah. Huh? Well, sometimes people, they say sayda, which is funny. I mean, they use the word sayda for this female figure, for anything. They used to say sayda, but the funny thing is the feminine idea, yeah?
Are they so us as Sayda?
Sorry?
Are they so us as Sayda?
Well, unfortunately, yes.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes. Wallahi, yes. That's the mentality of men, I can assure you. Yeah. We say رايحين القنيص ايش يا عمي؟ ايش بدك تقنص؟ والله رايحين القنيص. Huh? I've heard it many times by people and by men and by groups of men, by gangs saying, yeah, قنيص, what? You say, yeah, we want to, yeah. So this is the mentality. Even they say as-sayda. It's said, it's used in many contexts. Really, I don't want to elaborate about this. Yes, Zainab, it's sad, but this is true. I'm telling you the truth. It is sad, but that's the truth. Sometimes men, the way men sometimes, I'm not saying all men, I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is sometimes the mentality, the masculine, the arrogance, really the arrogance about it here, of course. That's what's said. As-sayda, even once one of the I don't want to talk about politics here because even somebody used the word sayda for Syria. They said, well, راحت الصيدة من ايدنا ونحن نتقاتل على الطريقة. Yeah, that's what he said. So the whole of Syria was just a sayda for them. Yeah. Anyway, so here the question is really the interesting thing about the word prey, beasts of prey. Her youth employs, and Phoebus rivals in her rural joys. So here we can say about deity who you know, to say again her, and Phoebus here, of course, the reference to Apollo, the god of the sun, and the, you know, of even the god of I think many other well, mainly love again. Anyway, with naked neck she goes and shoulders bare, and with a filled binds her flowing hair. You know, the way he's describing her, she's running with her naked neck. You know, with a naked neck she was running, and shoulders also, her shoulders were bare. You know, as if she's, you know, her body is clear. And with a filth binds her flowing hair. You know, she's running and her hair is, you know, flowing after her. But many suitors sought, she mocks their pains, and still her vowed virginity maintains. So many men running after her, many men's suitors here. Suitors, you know, they are running after her, wanting to marry her, but she was mocking them all, mocks their pains, mocking their agonies and attempts, and they are attempting and she's laughing at them because she does not want to marry. Why? He said, still her vowed virginity maintains. She vows to keep her virginity and never to get married. Although we know that her father, as I said, here we shall see in a minute. Notice. Impatient of a yoke, the name of bride she shuns and hates the joys she never tried. You know, so all of these men are absolutely trying to find and to make her accept them to marry her, but she will not. She shuns and hates, and she would never wants any of these men. She never even tried to accept or even to entertain even the slightest moment of accepting any one of them. On wilds and woods she fixes her desire, nor knows what youth and kindly love inspire. She has totally shunned, all the feelings towards men and wanting to get married. She is in love with nature, as you can see, wilds and woods, as if to say she is now completely unhuman, if you like. She has no feelings whatsoever towards men. She only likes nature, woods and wilds, and she, again, nor knows what youth. She has no idea what really love to men means. She has never tried and she does not want that. Her father chides her oft. You know, her father always blames her, you know, chide to blame, to say, come on, daughter, come on, young lady, come on, lassie, I want you to get married. You know, her father chides her oft. Thou owest, says he. He said, you owe me as a father. I want to see your kids. As your father, you owe me the fact that you should get married. I want to see your kids. I want to be a grandfather. She, like a crime, abhors the nuptial bed. Oh, sorry, he said, a husband to thyself, a son to me. And you know, that's true, really. Honestly, that's true. Honestly, that's true. Sometimes I say this to my own daughter. My daughter now, she's a medical doctor. She's 25, and I say to her, "Come on, Farah." You know, my daughter is called Farah. Come on, come on. Hey, you know, we want to see you married. We want to, you know, to enjoy your kids. Yeah, that's the natural thing. You know, we have a saying in Syria. I don't know. Do you say it here in Zainab? Zainab, do you say it here in Oman?
Doctor,
Yeah?
I'm not Amani.
Did I say Amani?
No, I'm not Amani.
Oh, you are not Omani. Oh.
No.
Okay. It's okay. I'm sorry.
I'm Algerian.
Oh, really? Algerian? Oh, Zainab.
Yes.
Oh, you are welcome, whether you're Algerian or Omani, you are all the same to me. I
Thank
like
you.
you all, like my own daughter. Now, yeah, in Algeria, okay, I will come to you, back to you. In Algeria, do you say something like this? And I will ask Abir later. We say, اسعى لبنتك قبل ابنك. جوز بنتك قبل ابنك. Do you say that in Algeria?
Not
Yes.
really.
No?
No.
Abir, do you say that here in Oman?
I don't know, they just يعني يزوجوا أبنائهم حسب الترتيب أحس. This is more important for them.
No, we say اسعى والله we say this in Syria. اسعى لبنتك قبل ابنك. اسعى أنا كأب they say to me اسعى لبنتك قبل ابنك. That's what we say in Syria. I don't know, maybe we Syrians are funny.
Sarah put this in the chat.
I've heard it before, Doctor, here.
You've heard it here in Oman?
Yes.
Yeah,
They say it.
Sarah said اخطب لبنتك قبل ولدك. You say that, Sarah? Yeah.
Yes, they say it, but they don't do it.
No, honestly, in Syria, I know this. Wallahi, I know this. Absolutely, I know this. I remember really all my relatives, even my mother, when she was, very angry that my sister, my twin sister, I'm a twin with my sister, and she was 17, and my mother was angry that my sister is not married yet. In all those days, young ladies got married, they marry very early, and my mother was upset. I said, come on, she's still young, but no, she said no, she should get married. So really the idea is true. And here our friend Daphne's father is this. So Daphne's father must be Syrian. He's saying to his daughter, I want to see you, I want to see your husband, and I want to see your son. That's what he said. A husband to thyself, a son to me. I want to see your son. You give me a son. I want you to get married, you to have a husband and to marry, and then to give me a son. Yeah, it's really good, and this is human. She, like a crime, abhors the nuptial bed. Oh, what a shame. Again, this is human saying, like a crime. Like a crime, she hates nuptial bed. As we say, فراش الزوجية. تكره فراش الزوجية. الله Akbar. Allah, why? Come on. And she's like a crime. She glows with blushes and she hangs her head. She's, no. Then casting round his neck her tender arms, soothes him with blandishments and filial charms. You know, here, of course, you know, the idea about to go back to see how she's, you know, hugging her father. I said, oh, come on, father, no problem. I don't want to notice, you know. Then casting round his neck her tender arms, soothes him with blandishments and filial charms. Give me, my lord, she said, to live and die, a spotless maid without the marriage tie. You know, she was begging her father, the god of rivers, say, please, you know, and she was, you know, like any young lady trying to play with her father, and she was hugging him and saying, I love you, my father, give me all what I want. Notice here the filial, you know, the family, the father-son, the father-daughter relationship, you know, the love that she has towards her father. And she said to him, please, my lord, my father, my lord, give me, you know, all what I want. I want to live and die without marriage. It's but a small request, I beg no more. She said, this is only a small request, I beg you, please. And this is a small thing, please give me this. Then what Diana's father gave before. So I want to be like Diana, another goddess. Her father also made her, and you know, I think this is stupid anyway. The good old sire was softened to consent. And here we see the good old sire, her old father, because he's her father. He said, okay, if that's what you want, okay, I'll give you that. Consent accepted. Again, notice, softened to consent, but said his wish would prove her punishment. He said, if I agree, this would be a punishment to you, and you will see this. If I agree to give you eternal, you know, virginity and never to marry, then this will be a punishment. For so much youth and so much beauty joined, opposed the state which her desires designed. Saying this is against nature. She's so lovely and so beautiful. She is so lovely and so beautiful, and she is made for, you know, love and for real, if you like, marriage and so on. And this is saying, she's so beautiful and so amazingly attractive. And this is against the state. Here means the nature, against nature, and against, you know, everything, you know, she's asking for. The god of flight, aspiring to her bed, hopes what he seeks, with flattering fancies fed, and is by his own oracles misled, and if in empty fields unsubtle burns, of nightly travels, when day returns, their useless torches on dry hedges throw, that catch of flames that kindle all the row. So burns the god, consuming in desire, and feeding in his breast a fruitless fire. Her well-turned neck he viewed, her neck was bare, and on her shoulders her dishevelled hair. Oh, were it combed, said he, with what a grace would every waving curl become her face. He viewed her eyes like heavenly lambs that shone. He viewed her lips too sweet to view alone, her taper fingers and her panting breast. Her praise is all he sees, and for the rest, believes the beauties yet unseen are best. Swift as the wind, the damsel fled away, nor did for these alluring speeches stay. You know, I really want to read more because, you know, as you can see here, Apollo here now is running after her and describing her and absolutely, chasing her, and he's looking at her body and her hair and her shoulders and her face and her curls and the shining in her breast, and describing all her body and the beauty and so on and so forth. He is really amazing, if you like, amazingly running after her. Notice, swift as the wind, the damsel fled away, nor did for those alluring speeches stay. She never listened to him. She ran away from him, very quickly and swiftly, as we say, notice here, said, swiftly fleeing from him. Stay, nymph, he cried, stay, I follow, not a foe. I follow, not a foe. So I'm not your enemy. Come on, I love you. Come on, where are you? Why are you rushing? Why are you running from me? I love you. I'm not your enemy. Why are you running away? Thus from the lion trips the trampling doe. Again here, as if, he's comparing here, as if he's the lion and she's the deer. And she's trampling and maybe sometimes falling and then jumping again. And as if like a small, really innocent young deer or gazelle running from him. Oh, what a shame. Thus, from the lion trips the trampling doe, thus from the wolf the fated dams removes, and from pursuing falcons fearful doves. Well, here is not perfect rhyme. It's as you can see here, it's just imperfect rhyme. We don't say doves, we say doves, but here removes. The fearful doves, we don't say doves, but doves. Anyway, you can see here again the comparison. He is the falcon and she's the bird running from him. She's the lamb and he's the wolf. And, he's the falcon and she's the dove. Oh, come on. All this, again, to do with the images of prey. Let some thorn should pierce thy tender foot, or thou shouldst fall in flying my pursuit. My pursuit may be saying, well, come on, quiet, don't run away. Maybe you will get some thorn pricking you, or maybe stopping you from running so fast. Will stop you piercing your foot, your tender foot. Please don't run like that, like mad. And maybe you will fall, in running away from me. To sharp uneven ways, thy steps decline. Abate thy speed and I will bate off mine. Please slowly, don't run away so fast. Please be slow and I will be slow. Come on, be quiet. Yet think from whom thou dost so rashly fly, nor basely born, nor shepherd's swain am I. Don't run from me, think of me. I am Apollo, I am decent man, I want to marry you, come on. Why are you running away? I'm not base, notice here, no base. I'm not a low person. I'm a god here, and I'm not really. Notice here, no shepherd swain am I. I'm not really a servant or a maid or a funny sort of man. Perhaps thou knowest not my superior state. Maybe you don't know me. Come on, I'm Apollo. Perhaps thou knowest not my superior state. And from that ignorance proceeds thy hate. And maybe because you don't know me, you hate me. But if you knew me, maybe you will begin to love me. Me, Clarus, Delphi, Tenedos obey. These hands of Paterian scepter sway. King of gods begot me. What shall be? Again here, the word gods, as I said, really, well, I copied this from the net, and I think it should be here really small g. but he wrote it in capital G. I think it's wrong. It's really wrong to say here, capital G. You think, come on, I'm a God, and my Father is the God of gods. Come on, why are you running away from me? Or is, or ever was, in fate, I see. Mine is the invention of the charming lyre. Sweet notes and heavenly numbers I inspire. You know, he's telling her how much he is the God of so many things, of music, of dance, of love. And he's saying, I do a lot of things. You know, charming music, lyre. Again, notice here, sweet notes, poetry, making music. Sure is my bow. And if I shoot with my bow, I always you know, shoot what I shoot. Unerring is my dart. So I never make a mistake. Always I shoot correctly. Sweet notes and heavenly numbers I inspire. Sure is my bow, my bow unerring is my dart. But more deadly his who pierced my heart. Here again, he's saying, you know, my heart is pierced with the arrow of love, right? Medicine is mine. Medicine is mine. What herbs and simples grow? Again, I give all kinds of medications and medicines, all herbal stuff. I am the God of that. In fields and forests, all their powers I know, and I am the great physician called below. You know, even down on earth, everybody, they call me the great doctor. I'm the great physician. Alas, that fields and forests can afford no remedies to heal their lovesick Lord. And you know, he's saying it's a shame. Nothing can heal my pain that I love you and I want you. To cure the pains of love, no plants avails, and his own physique, the physician falls. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. He said, I am the great doctor, but I can't doctor myself. I am the great physician, but I can't, you know, physique myself. I can't heal myself. I'm the great doctor giving medicine to everybody, but I can't give medicine to myself because I love you. Oh. She heard not half, so furiously she flies, and on her earth's imperfect scent dies. Fear gave her wings. I don't know, this is too long. Maybe I will read this quickly because time is running. Yeah, it's a lovely poem. I like it. It's unbelievably funny and lovely, really. The language, our friend, I think the translation, John Dryden really did is perfect, is absolutely perfect. Fear gave her wings, and as she fled the wind, increasing spread her flowing hair behind, and left her legs and thighs exposed to view, which made the god more eager to pursue. The god was young and was too hotly bent to lose his time in empty compliment, but led by love and fired with such a sight, impetuously pursued his near delight. So he was running and running and running after her, and her body was exposed even more and more to him, and he was crazy for her, and he was running after her. And when the impatient greyhound slipped from afar, again here, notice, see, again using the, again another funny image, greyhound, again describing himself as greyhound, you know, the dog, you know, the hunting dog. He's saying, bounds over the glebe to pursue the fearful hare. You know, once I slipped as a greyhound, as a great hunter, and then I was running after a rabbit. You know, it's really a shame. again, you can see how many images associated with vicious animals for the man and innocent animals for the woman here. Hare and rabbit, you know, the bird and the lamb and all this for the girl. So here a greyhound compared to a hare, you know, wild rabbit, she running from a horrible dog, a horrible, wolf, even, we said greyhound, you know, fox, a horrible fox. She in her speed does all her safety lay, and he with double speed pursues the prey. So she was running and running and running fast, and he's running and running faster and faster after her. Overruns her at the sitting turn and licks his chaps in vain and blows upon the flicks. So he was nearly touching her. He was nearly near her. She escapes and for the neighboring covert strives, and gaining shelter, doubts if yet she lives. If little things with great we may compare, such was the god and such the flying fair. She urged by fear, her feet did swiftly move, but he more swiftly who was urged by love. Again, this move and love here, imperfect rhyme. Because we don't say move and love. Well, Scottish people say love, yeah. But really it's pronounced love here. He gathers ground upon her in the chase. Now breathes upon her hair with nearer pace. And just is fasting on the wished embrace, the nymph grew pale and in a mortal fright, spent with the labor of so long a flight, and now despairing cast a mournful look upon the streams of her paternal brook. So the minute he wanted to touch her, he was going to touch her. She looked at her father, the river, the god of the river, or the river god, and she was begging him to change her. Notice here, upon the streams of her paternal brook, you know, she looked at the river, her father. Oh, help, she cried, in this extremest need. If water gods are deities indeed, gape earth and this unhappy wretch entomb, or change my foam whence all my sorrows come. You know, she's asking her father, please either, you know, kill me now or bury me under the earth, or to stop all this feeling in my body to make me dead. Change my foam whence all my sorrows come. Scarce she had finished when her feet she found, benumbed with cold and fastened to the ground. The minute she finished the sentence, her feet became the tree, benumbed with cold and fastened to the ground. A filmy rind about her body grows. Oh, it's a shame. Filmy rind, like as we say, you know, the rind about the tree, about like the tree and the bark tree. So it became like a tree, and the body became the bark of the tree. A filmy rind about her body grows. Her hair to leaves, her arms extend to boughs. The nymph is all into a laurel gun. The smoothness of her skin remains alone. Yet Phoebus loves her still, and casting round her bowl, his arms, some little warmth he found. The tree still panted in the unfinished part, nor not wholly vegetative, and heaved her heart. He fixed his lips upon the trembling rind. In it swerved aside, and his embrace decline. To whom the god, because thou canst not be my mistress, I espouse thee for my tree. What? Yeah, haram, isn't it? What a shame. إن لم تكوني زوجة لي يا حبيبتي فلتكوني شجرتي، فلتكوني شجرتي المقدسة. الله 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 الله، مسكين يا أهبل. ها؟ Do you agree with me? مسكين يا أهبل, isn't it?
Why a tree?
Sorry?
Why a tree? Why he choose a tree?
Well, ask her father.
Because he's crazy.
No, because she became a tree.
He is also selfish.
Abir, she was changed to a tree, to a laurel tree. And he's saying, if you, now you are a tree, now you will become my tree. You did not become to my wife. Now you are my tree then. Okay. Yeah, of course, in real life, we say it's crazy and it's funny. Yeah, it's really funny. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But of course, that's the story. We say, you notice, he fixes his lips and he was kissing her. It's amazing. Swerved aside and she was blushing. She turned her face from him. Can you believe it? A tree is moving from him. She does not want to. She says she's shy. She does not want him to kiss her. What a funny thing. Notice here. My mistress, I espouse thee for my tree, and thou the prize of honor and renown. From today you will be the prize of all honorable people, and for the renowned famous people, the deathless poet and the poem, the crown. You'll become the symbol for all of these things. The symbol of beauty, of poetry, and the crown. Thus shall the Roman festivals adorn, and after poets be by victors worn. This tree will be worn by all great people and will be respected, honorable, veneered tree. From this day, this tree will be a heavenly tree. Notice, wreathed on the posts before his palace wait, and be the sacred guardian of the gate, secure from thunder and uncharmed by love, unfading as the immortal powers above. And as the locks of Phoebus are unshorn, so shall perpetual green thy boughs adorn. It's really lovely. كما هي جدائل أبولو الطويلة الجميلة إلى آخره. As the locks and jadail here of Phoebus are unshorn, means يعني the way they are not combed, right? So you will be permanently green. And by the way, this is true. Laurel is permanently green. Is permanently green. It never dies. It's 12 months green. It's always
and
green.
it grows fast. And when you cut it, it becomes more and more bigger.
Who's speaking?
I'm Meta, doctor.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Even if you cut it from the ground, it grows back and it becomes more powerful. Unbelievable. I know it. As I told you, I have a tree myself in my own garden, in my own house. Really, it's a lovely tree, I think. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the last line. Let me say, shall perpetual green thy boughs adorn. The grateful tree was pleased with what he said, and shook thy shady honors of her head. Here, only here she's happy. The grateful tree was pleased with what he said. Well, it's very late, it's too late. And shook the shady hours of her head. Anyway, this is a very funny story. Thank you for being nice audience to me today. And next time I will start a more maybe serious matter than this. As I told you, this is Daphne and Apollo, Crime and Punishment. Please, I hope that you have already started reading that novel. We will spend at least 3 weeks in Crime and Punishment. At least 3 weeks in Crime and Punishment. So please read that quickly for next time. Any question, anything for today?
No, doctor, thank you.
I just want to ask,
Yes.
is this the reason behind they put the oral tree around their head, or there is another story?
No, this is the reason. According to mythology, yeah, it became, well, I don't know. I mean, this is the mythology. Remember, we said mythology. Yeah, this is at the end of the day, it's mythology. So therefore, we don't really know. But really, the tree, the laurel tree, is so lovely, and the smell of the tree, the permanent green and the smell and the seeds and the berries, the berry, as I told you, it's like, I showed you last time, it's like olive. It's really like olive. And they make, I told you, I have my own, the soap that I use here today in Oman. My son, when was here, he came to me, I asked him, the only thing you should bring me from Syria is my olive tree, my soap, and olive and laurel oil soap. It's unbelievably healthy. Zainab, in Algeria, do you use it? Zainab?
You mean olive?
No, yeah, you have olive. I'm sure you have olive in
Yes,
Algeria.
we have.
And laurel, do you have laurel? You should, because it's Mediterranean.
I don't know, maybe.
You should. If you live in the coastal area of Algeria, because laurel tree is only on the coastal area of the Mediterranean, only about 50 miles from the sea, around the Mediterranean, everywhere, starting from Morocco to France to Spain to Italy to Turkey to Greece to Syria to all the coastal areas. We have it in Syria, in my place, in my area where I live in Syria. I live in the coastal area of Syria. It's a lovely tree. So that's why, would you say very toxic? Well, we don't eat it, we don't eat it. Zainab.
No, doctor. I meant the romance of the poet.
Okay. Yeah. So the oil, the oil we take from the laurel is not edible. It's very, very green and very bitter. And of course, it's not poisonous, but it's not edible. But we mix it with olive oil, and they make soap. They make soap like shampoo. It's absolutely rich and healthy and very good. Anyway, that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any question, you are welcome. So the next class is our exam, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Right, questions?
Thank you, doctor.
Okay, welcome.